and welcome to West Wales. In this week's vlog, I'm having a day in the garden putting together my Christmas present. Then it's a trip to Strumble Head to take some photographs. I put together my 16-inch rigid heddle loom, and then end of the week looking for fabric in the charity shop for my new Welsh quilt project. If you're new here, my name is Becca, and together with my partner Andrew and our little dog Millie, we have taken the decision to live our best life in retirement in the beautiful county of Pembrokeshire, West Wales. If you're an old friend, welcome back. On with the video. For the first time in what feels like weeks, it's actually pleasant enough that we want to be in the garden and really do a bit of clearing up, because it is just looking a bit, well, not very beautiful, I think is the most polite way of putting it. I don't like to be over tidy, because if you're over tidy you kind of destroy all the habitats for the wildlife, but there's a lot of leaves blown onto the paths, and the blackbirds have been sort of chucking bits of the mulch that we put around the trees and things. They've been kind of chucking it all around the garden, so it kind of needs to go back as mulch around the trees. So that is the plan for today. I need to do a lot of sweeping, which might be fairly hilarious because the dog hates the broom and she does really try to attack it like it's some kind of, I don't know, I think she thinks maybe it might be a rat or something. It kind of moves like that and she does try to kill it. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, yeah, bit of gardening I think today. It's not going to be very thrilling gardening, it's going to be mostly tidying up gardening. I'm hiding in the corner out of the wind so you can hear me, but the sun's in a really weird place, so in a really weird place. Well, the sun is in the sky, it's not that weird, but the reflection of the screen is not that great, so I'm looking very, very washed out. I'm really not this washed out, it's just where the sun is. Anyway, right, okay, so sweeping up is done. The next thing on the list is the winter pruning, and I'm pruning the fruit trees. Sorry, I've just been distracted by, there are blue tits just down there. Oh, I'll see if I can get up. You see, they're so small you probably won't be able to see them even if I do capture them. Anyway, I digress as usual. Winter pruning. So apple trees and pear trees are what you prune at this time of the year. We're sort of mid-January, and another bird's just flown. Oh, they're so gorgeous. They're feeding on the sunflower seeds. Right, okay, concentrate. What am I trying to say? Yeah, so fruit trees. Don't do plums because they can get canker if you prune them in this time of the year. You summer prune plums, but apples and pears you winter prune. And I chose spur fruiting apples and pears, which means that you can prune them this time of the year and you don't have to worry about pruning off what's going to flower and produce your fruit, because it comes off spurs. Right, okay, enough of the gardening lesson. You probably already know that, as lots of gardeners watch this channel, so you probably already know that. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. That is the next thing, and I'm going to keep those prunings because the bark is really good as a natural dye. Okay, enough of me waffling on. Let's get this pruning done. So this is an apple tree, and that is what we're going to prune, but we're not going to prune from there. That's where I pruned in the summer. So I'm going to take about a third. So I'm going to take the third off here and cut it just above a node or a bud. It's really simple. You don't need to be scared of pruning. I've just stopped for a cup of coffee. Made a cup of coffee for Andrew as well. I thought he might come out and join me because it's quite nice out here. It's about 8-9 degrees, something like that. I'll put the Fahrenheit on the screen because it's centigrade. But he is engrossed in photo editing. So he went outside yesterday when it was still quite cold actually. He was kind of He was like the Michelin Man. He had many layers on. And yeah, I was taking photographs. If you don't know, which you might not do if you're new here, then Andrew had a brain hemorrhage nearly 10 years ago. And he's been left with really bad pain, particularly in one hand, and with chronic fatigue. And the chronic pain is much worse in the cold. So he really has to kind of really wrap himself up. And, you know, he's not in the videos very much because he gets so tired and he wants to save his energy for photography and photo editing. So he is photo editing at the moment. And I am about to start on my next job, which is putting together my Christmas present from Andrew, which was a cold frame. And it's a wooden cold frame, but I think I just need to paint the bits that are going to touch the ground with creosote. Not that it is creosote, because you can't get creosote anymore. It's called something else, but I can never remember what it's called. It's like creosote, but not creosote. Anyway, that is my next job. That was a busy Sunday, and the little cold frame is built, and I'll be able to start my seedlings soon, and I'll be able to put cuttings in there, so it's a really good gift and I'm really looking forward to making use of it. So I guess that's Sunday over and done with, and I will try and film bits and pieces throughout the week, you know, just depending what we're doing, because I don't know, some of the days might be a little bit dull. Anyway, I will see you probably tomorrow. So that bright spot in the sky is the moon. It's actually not the full moon. The full moon is tomorrow, but I don't think we're going to have a good enough day weather-wise to do any moon photography. Andrew likes to do a full moon photograph, and I like to go for a walk as the full moon comes up. I don't think that's going to be an option tomorrow. So that is the wolf moon, I believe. And very lovely it is too. It's Tuesday. I've just finished videoing Wednesday's video. I think it was a bit rambly. Anyway, you know, it is what it is, as they say, and it's done. So Millie and I have come for our afternoon walk, and I got asked in the comments that somebody wanted to know if there was a good beach in North Pembrokeshire for sea glass and sea pottery. And I thought, well, the closest to where this person was staying is going to be Lower Town Harbour. You need to come here at low tide. I mean, the tide has turned, but it's only just turned, and I think we've got 4 hours till high tide. So when it's all emptied out, and just basically walk round, look down at your feet, and you find sea glass and sea pottery and all sorts of other exciting things. I mean, it's not the biggest amount you're going to find, but I think you will find interesting things. So I thought I would just bring you, show you, and I'm going to turn you around and have a look at the houses. And yeah, see if I can find a few little bits of treasure. And don't worry, I won't take them all. There'll be plenty for when you come. It's a rather grey day, but there's no wind, which means I can film outside without everybody being deafened by the sound of wind. And there is Lower Town in all its picture postcard glory, although not so picture postcard when it's a bit grey. And you can see we're in the harbour and it's all emptied out. So you can either park across in the car park that's the other side of the bridge, or by the woods there's a little kind of pull in, and then you come across to where the boats are all up, and the scout hut is, that's the Sea Scout hut, and the little kind of launch pad. Launch pad? No, it's not a launch pad. What is it? Where you launch bait from? Slipway, thank you, from the slipway. And then you can just walk on here. Millie loves it here. She loves coming here. There's lots of good smells for dogs. And because it's a bit drizzly, she's got her coat on. And she also has a new ball, which she's absolutely point blank refusing to give to me so I can throw it for her, which is not unusual. Our old dog liked to chase a ball. Millie likes to carry a ball. Right, let's see if we can find some treasure. This is what is known as Slade Beach, and you can see there's lots of driftwood here. There's also a lot of seaweed. So if you like to make driftwood sculptures, this is a really good beach. I will just say, if you're thinking, Rebecca, you could collect firewood from there, you really mustn't burn driftwood. It's full of salt, and so when it burns really kind of acrid, acid kind of smoke and fumes. And if you have a lined chimney or a stainless steel chimney, it corrodes it. So no, do not burn driftwood. But collect it and make art out of it. Or not, or just let it sit here and come in and out with the tide, and someone else will collect it and do something with it, or not. I'm in a very rambly mood today. Right, well, I've got my eyes peeled and I'm looking for treasure down here. There are quite a lot of shells. You'll find quite a lot of whelk shells because a lot of whelk fishermen land their catch here. And you will also find this sort of thing because there was a brickworks in Goodwick, and so you find a lot of sort of this colour of pebble, which is either broken brick. The really big ones are broken bricks, or kind of the little pebbles. I mean, there hasn't been a brickworks in Goodwick since I think the 50s. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. But it's really nice colours and nice shapes. But I probably don't need to take any of this home. So, nice shell. I mean, they are very subtle colours. They're not generally not very brightly coloured, but they're nice, nice examples. Let's see if we can find some sea glass and some sea pottery. I think this is probably a bit big, and so that is the edge of a marmalade jar, or yeah, I guess you call it a jar even though it's stoneware. But you probably don't really want to use that in craft, it's a bit sharp. Okay, so little piece of green sea glass, and not very far away little piece of sea pottery. Quite nice with the blue on it. But I'm going to leave them, and someone else can enjoy them or pick them up. I don't know whether you can hear the oyster catchers whistling. Ah, the winter time on a British beach. I sort of prefer it to the summer, if I'm absolutely honest. Right, next stop, the co-op for exciting things like dog food. And I will see you probably back at the house, because I want to put a wax finish on my new loom. And I have just been to the hardware shop, or ironmongers, depending on what part of the world you're from, to buy some. So I'll see you in a bit. I'm completely determined that I am going to get this loom up and running before the end of the week. And we've got people coming on Sunday for lunch, so I really need to get it sorted. So I'm going to attempt to put it together. I'm really hoping that I don't have to go and call my next door neighbour for help. I think it should be achievable. It doesn't look too hard. Oh, and now the dog's barking. Right, here we go. And there she is. I did make a couple of slight errors, but they were easily fixed. I have got 2 reeds on here. They're actually different sizes, so that's the one that it came with. And then I bought a 12.5. And obviously I can't use the 2 reeds together because they are different sizes. But I was just sort of putting them there. Oh, yes. Well, I don't think I'm going to have a second job as someone who assembles looms, but it's done. So next job, warping up. Although I strongly suspect that is going to be next week. We're back at Strumble Head for the first time in 2025, and we're hoping to get some photographs of sunset, although there's not much cloud. So sometimes when you haven't got a bit of cloud, then it can be a bit of a boring shot. I've got a very crazy hat on. It's a present from my sister-in-law, and it has ear flaps. And I need ear flaps today. It's quite chilly. Only because the wind's blowing rather than because it's a really cold day, because it's not. It's out of the wind, it's probably about 10 degrees centigrade, but in the wind, no, you need your ear flaps. Or I need my ear flaps. Millie is on the lead because it's fine her sort of hooning about at the top where it's not close to the edge. But if she was to hoon about down here, I would be a bit scared. So she is on the lead, and I've only really come in here so that I can talk to you, because if I'm out on the cliff top, then you won't hear a word I'm saying. The ferry you can also hear possibly in the background, kind of the chugging of the engine off to Ireland. Right, well, we're having a picnic lunch. I'm going to take some photographs, and then probably once we've taken the photographs, we'll just kind of sit in the car and contemplate life, which is sort of what we do quite often in the winter. And then back home and, you know, get on with things and stuff. But probably by the time we get home, it'll be time to start cooking dinner, and I won't actually get my next job done. Anyway, I will probably see you tomorrow, I think. Hello, and it is the end of the week, and gosh, it's been a busy week. I kind of look like I've been pulled through a hedge backwards. I feel slightly like I've been pulled through a hedge backwards. Had a really bad night's sleep, and I was kind of, I try not to kind of bring the negative stuff, the downer stuff onto the channel, because we all have bad nights and bad situations, and I try and keep the channel positive and energetic and creative, but I really am not feeling it today. And I was watching Catherine, K3N Cloth Tales, and she was doing a Q&A and was talking about running in-person workshops, and maybe it was something she was going to do. And recently somebody has asked me if I'll run in-person workshops, and I sort of said, oh well, yeah, that'd be great. I'll have a little think about it, you know, because it'll take some planning. And I've been thinking about it, and last night I was, you know, obviously Catherine talking about doing in-person workshops made me think about it again. Oh dear, my hand is in front of the camera. Right, okay, sort it out. Yeah, so she was talking about this, and I thought, no, I need to make a decision. I need to talk to this person and give them a proper answer. And the proper answer is, of course, it's really impractical. I can't. I am a full-time caregiver, and that is a decision that I took because Andrew could have gone and lived in a care home. I don't want him to. I mean, that would have been awful, which is obviously why I am his caregiver, rather than, you know, kind of carrying on and working and him either having daycare or living in a care home. Oh, so yeah, it kind of brought me up short a little bit. It kind of suddenly went, oh yes, that's your life, isn't it? You can't just do what you want to do. And equally, Andrew can't just do what he wants to do. He finds the winter really difficult because his hand is really painful. You know, it just is, living in constant pain is exhausting. So he's really exhausted this time of the year because of the cold. And I am really exhausted, particularly today, because I just didn't sleep, because I was kind of tossing and turning, thinking, well, is there a way I can do it? Can I work it out? No, there isn't. I can't do it. Just move on. You do plenty of other really great stuff. Just stop being a misery guts. So this is a message to myself as much as anything else. And I did actually record a great long video that was going to come out on Friday. Oh, sorry, the dog's just saying, who are you talking to? She's jumping up at me. Yeah, I recorded this, it was about, 25 minutes long. And I kind of reviewed it. I had it up on the channel. I was going to go live and I was like, do you know what, lady? That's just therapy for you, isn't it? So take that down. Yeah, but I just thought I would share that because I'm feeling a bit down in the dumps today. But I will cheer myself up. I'm going to go to the charity shop in the A40 at Letterston and see if they've got some more fun fabric, because I really want to get started on this Welsh quilt. I ordered myself a copy of the book that I'd had out of the library, and I'd had it out for ages, and it was like, no, it really has to go back to the library now. So I ordered myself a copy of that, and I've been diving into it, and the history, the textiles, it's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, so I'm going to see if there's some fun stuff in the charity shop, which of course I will share with you. Anyway, right, I'm going to carry on with my walk, try and snap myself out of this grump, and hopefully I will see you at the charity shop. We have arrived at the charity shop and I'm looking for a very specific piece of furniture, and they do come up, but I'm just going to have to keep looking, and I know exactly what I want. So I just keep, every time I come in, I have a quick look around the furniture shed and see if there's anything similar-ish, see what we find. And then, yeah, fabric, that's what I'm looking for. And I normally do pretty well for fabric here. I haven't got time to go to the other charity shops this week, so just a little one, and I will show you what we find at the end of the video. What I'm looking for is a little table that will sort of go beside the sofa, or underneath the sofa. I'm not describing this very well. Anyway, I can rest the back of the loom on it, and so I can sit in the living room with Andrew and the dog and weave with my loom on the table. So that's what I'm looking for. As I came in here, there were some really lovely jigsaws, and my kind of slightly addled brain was like, oh, that'll be fun, I could do a jigsaw. I was like, no, stop yourself, woman. You do not have time to start doing 1,000-piece jigsaws. But I was very tempted. There were some really nice ones. I do love a jigsaw. I haven't done one in ages. Some really good fun stuff in here. And oh, here we go. There is quite a lot to dive through. It's nearly dark. I'm in the echoey conservatory and I've got one of Andrew's photography lights on here, so hopefully you can see this. Not the biggest haul in the world. A little piece of Welsh blanket, tapestry style blanket. If I ever find any that's not horrendously expensive, then I do pick it up. But it's really difficult to find in charity shops these days, because people have kind of really come to appreciate them. Sort of back in the 80s, they were so unfashionable, and people were giving it away. I mean, my big blanket that I've got, I bought for 50p in a charity shop, because nobody was appreciating how wonderful it is. Anyway, I like that, and I'm going to try and incorporate that into something. Then a little sort of bag of, I think we're calling this, this is kind of quilting fabric, I think, isn't it? And so these are kind of little scrappy bits. And this is a nice stripy bit. And I've been looking at the designs in the Welsh quilting book, and I think this is going to work quite well. Then some more of what I found last week. I really had to dig to find stuff I wanted. I think somebody had been in there before me, which, you know, that's kind of the joy of the hunt, isn't it? And a bit more of, yeah, something that I thought would sort of go tone slightly different. And then, obviously not fabric, but Portmeirion. And It is Botanical Garden. Wow, look at that. Made in Sri Lanka. Oh, long gone are the days when Port Marion was actually made in Wales, eh? Anyway, so that was £4. And the fabric was £2.50. As I've lost the light, I'm going to say goodbye to you and see you in a crafting video on Wednesday.